I'm Vanessa Binks, and with Ali Cookall, this week's Stock Journal's Taking Stock looks at the top news stories. First up, Meat and Livestock Australia launched one of the most ambitious agriculture plans of making the red meat industry carbon neutral by 2030, to become the first beef and sheep meat exporting nation to stake that claim. The strategy tackles head-on the emergence of laboratory or synthetic meat and puts the beef industry ahead of emerging consumer demand for environmental sustainability. MLA used its annual general meeting in Alice Springs this week to outline its proposition.
2 years on from the fire which tore through the lower north, residents and volunteers are pulling together to document the devastation. Led by Grace Plains farmer Peter March, the group will create a memorial of the fire, its two victims Alan Tiller and Janet Hughes, as well as showcasing the history of pinery dating back to the 1860s. Mr March hopes the project will be completed by mid-2018 and will provide a place for tourists to stop and visit.
In other news, an EP cooperative group of grain growers signed a memorandum of understanding with Iron Road Limited last week to forge ahead and advance the development of a new grain handling business with export facilities at Cape Hardy near Tumby Bay. The partnership came about after Iron Road received a mining lease and development approval for a $4.5 billion project in May. The MOU was agreed upon to help develop a new grain distribution and supply chain network using Iron Road's planned rail and port facilities.
The statewide ban on growing genetically modified crops is likely to continue into 2025, with the Greens bill to be voted on in the state parliament's lower house next week. Given the pro-moratorium government's majority, it is likely to pass. But Grains Producers SA Chair Wade Dabnett is pleading for House of Assembly members to consider the impact their vote will have on the state's agriculture sector. For more agricultural news from across South Australia, be sure to grab a copy of this week's Stock Journal.